It wasn't until Rulai casually wiped him out right there in the Thunder Monastery that Wukong finally realized just how laughable his great sage title really was. But even on the brink of death, he refused to let 6 years macaque take his place. So driven by pure rage and resentment toward the heavens, he shattered the boundaries of time itself and was reborn, back at the very beginning, sealed inside the stone. This time he wasn't naive anymore. He understood clearly that even with Patriarch Bodhi's teachings, facing a true heavenly powerhouse like Rulai meant he could still be erased without a second thought. And the root of all that? His demon bloodline. Demons are born without one critical meridian that humans naturally have. Throughout all of history, only the goddess Nuwa, Emperor Jun of the ancient heavenly court, and Donghuang Taiyi ever had meridians on par with humans. And that's exactly why they could truly carry the weight of the heavenly Tao. Any demon that came after them, no matter how powerful, could only ever reach demon immortal, never truly touching the heavenly Tao. Once Wukong figured this out, he didn't rush to be born. Instead, he stayed inside the stone and ran the 8-9 mystic art, drawing in the essence of heaven and earth to repair his missing meridian. 50 years passed in the blink of an eye, and inside that immortal stone, Wukong's body was finally fully developed. Compared to his past life, most of his body hair was gone, barely any fur left on his face or chest. His features looked far more human, and just like that, he had fully become the handsome Monkey King. With a massive crack, the stone exploded open. Wukong descended into this world once again, and this time he was born already at the peak of the human immortal realm. With a celestial demon body, all he had to do was survive the Doomsday Thunder tribulation from the 3 calamities and 9 trials, and he'd break through to Earth Immortal, far beyond anything his past self could touch. And Flower Fruit Mountain looked exactly as he remembered. He quickly blended right in with the monkeys again, but this time he knew he couldn't afford to waste his life drifting around. It wasn't just about him anymore. The whole monkey tribe on Flower Fruit Mountain needed to grow strong and fast. Following his memories, he led the monkeys to the Water Curtain Cave. Then just like before, he was the first to leap through the waterfall and claim the throne as their king. But this time around, he wasn't here to goof off. He got to work almost immediately. His first move was to pass down the 8-9 mystic art to all the monkeys on the mountain. The only problem? This technique demanded serious natural talent, so he simplified it. Sure, it wouldn't hit the same level as the full version, but for breaking past the mortal realm, way easier. As for how far each monkey could actually go, that came down to their own destiny. Once everything was set, he still decided to study under Patriarch Bodhi, and just like before, he built a raft instead of flying straight to West Cattle Continent on his somersault cloud. Because Rulai operates at the Heavenly Tao Saint level, guys like that can literally know everything happening across all realms with a single snap. If he showed up flying on his cloud, Rulai might see right through him again. And even if he made it to Mount Fan Kun, how would he ever explain himself to Bodhi? After everything he'd been through in his past life, Wukong knew the pressure Bodhi could put on someone was no weaker than Rulai's. He swore to himself, this time around, he had to walk away with completely new power. He also remembered that his lifespan, recorded in the Underworld Ledger, was only 342 years. Knowing time was tight, he didn't spend a decade drifting through the southern Jambudvipa this time. He went straight across the ocean. He reached West Cattle Continent quickly, and within just 2 days he had already found the Slanted Moon 3-star cave on Numinous Square Mountain. This time, he arrived a full 300 years earlier than in his past life. The moment he saw Patriarch Bodhi, he didn't waste any time, just bowed down and asked to be a disciple. Using everything he knew from before, every word he said hit exactly right. Bodhi could see that despite being a monkey demon, this one had already reached the peak of the human immortal level. After a quick reading, he confirmed this was the destined student, and accepted him once again. But just as Wukong was getting up, a figure flashed past the side door. He looked closer, and froze. It was the Bull Demon King. Back in his past life when they fought, Wukong had already noticed their skills were eerily similar. He knew the body enlarging technique, so did the Bull King. He had the 72 transformations. The Bull King's shapeshifting wasn't far behind, and when it came to raw strength, the Bull King actually had him beat. He'd asked about his background before, but the Bull King never said a word. Wukong figured Bodhi must have told him the same thing. Never reveal your master. Noticing the monkey spacing out, Bodhi spoke up and explained, this man is also my disciple. His name is Bull Buyi. Today is the day he leaves the mountain. He goes, you arrive. That's just how fate works. I hope you too will master your craft and set out into the world. 7 years flew by. Patriarch Bodhi once again passed down the 8-9 mystic art to Wukong in the middle of the night. But Wukong had already brought this technique to a beginner mastery level, so he played along for another year before finally releasing the seal on his cultivation and breaking through from the peak of human immortal toward Earth Immortal. The moment he broke through, the heavenly Tao felt it instantly. Thunder boomed and crackled right outside the 3-star cave, yet somehow not a single bolt actually struck down. Wukong knew exactly why. The cave's barrier was blocking the tribulation. One step outside, and the Doomsday Thunder would come crashing down immediately. Patriarch Bodhi called Wukong over and asked how his mystic art was coming along. Wukong replied that he'd reached mastery and said he was about to face the Doomsday Thunder from the 3 calamities and 9 trials. Bodhi was caught off guard, didn't expect this monkey to already know about the 3 calamities. Wukong casually made up a story, saying he read about it in the archive scrolls. Bodhi nodded approvingly and called him sharp and studious. Since you already know the 3 calamities can't simply be avoided, I happen to have 2 divine transformation arts here, the 36 heavenly transformations and the 72 earthly transformations. Master either one, and you can dodge the 3 calamities and 9 trials. Which one do you want to learn? Honestly, Wukong had already fully mastered the 72 earthly transformations. What he actually wanted was the 36 heavenly transformations. But this time, he wasn't impulsive. He figured there was value in reviewing the basics too, so he just asked, "Master, can I learn both?" The second those words left his mouth, Bodhi reached out and smacked him on the head. "You greedy little monkey. It's already incredible for a demon to master even one of these arts, and you want both? You're not afraid of ending up a total mess?" But for Wukong, this wasn't even a challenge. He flashed his most charming smile at Patriarch Bodhi. "Master, you haven't even taught me yet. How do you know I can't handle it?" The master opens the door. The student walks the path. "Just teach me both. If I can't pull it off, that's on me, not you." Seeing him like this, Bodhi could only sigh. Out of all his students, Wukong had the highest talent and the most personality. Everyone else treated Bodhi with pure reverence. Only Wukong dared to cry. Looking at Wukong's eager eyes now, Bodhi's heart softened. "Fine. Since you're so set on it, I'll pass both arts down to you. How much you absorb is entirely up to you. But don't you dare leave this cave until you've learned them. Not once. You hear me? The 72 earthly transformations focus on physical form. What you create often looks the part, but lacks the soul. Early stage transformations can fool enemies, but you lose your own abilities in the process. Transform into a bee, and your body becomes just as fragile as one. The 36 heavenly transformations are much harder to get into, but once you truly master them, a single thought can produce infinite forms. And everything you become is a perfect copy, body and soul. The catch is that before you hit that breakthrough, your speed and success rate will both be pretty rough. But in the end, both paths lead to the same place. Total mastery over the transformations of heaven and earth. Wukong had already maxed out the 72 earthly transformations, and now with Bodhi personally teaching him the 36 heavenly transformations, it was like unlocking everything at once. In less than half a day, he had fully internalized both transformation systems. He jumped to his feet and let out a shout.